I'm going to take a little bit of this membrane off the back of the ribs. This is a little tough when you eat, and it sometimes doesn't let the flavor get into the ribs. So separate it with a knife and then pull it with a paper towel. And pull some of that membrane off.
ลอกออกพ่อใหญ่แล้วเห็ดของเราเป็นล่ะของเราแล้วจัดการโหลดบ่ยากพ่อใหญ่
It can be very slippery, so a little paper towel helps you hold it and helps you grip it. Just covers this side of the rib. It doesn't really up here, but this bottom part. Got to take that off. Okay, so we'll do that on each of the rack of ribs. We'll take off some of that membrane. Make them a little bit nicer to eat when we eat them.
เนี่ยเวลากินยังสิได้แซ่บพ่อแม่พี่น้องพูด3 ตอนเหมือนไงเลย4 โครงหมู
Right along the bone. That knife helps get the membrane off a little bit. Then you can grab with a towel.
กระดาษเทปชูนี่เด้อถ้าเป็นเท่ากับมือเลยล่ะพ่อใหญ่เราก็เอาเนี่ยกระดาษชำระเราจัดการลอกออกไปค่ะโอ้โหว้าวอีชีด้านนี้กูด
So pork ribs are all trimmed. I'm going to give them a light coating with olive oil. So this is just olive oil. Makes it easy to apply. You could just rub with olive oil, but it makes it easy to apply.
สีดน้ำมันใส่ค่ะสีดน้ำมันใส่ค่ะพี่น้องฝากกดไลค์กดแชร์ซับสไครต์ด้วยค่ะสาวอุบลคนออสซี่ค่ะมื้อนี้มาลงมือเฮ็ดบาร์บีคิว
Now I put on some dry rub, and I've got it in a container, but it's my dry rub that I make. So it's spices, and there's sugar, some brown sugar, some white sugar. There's paprika. There is salt and pepper. There is onion powder, garlic powder, rosemary powder. What else is in there?
เราเฮ็ดเองของเราซอสเครื่
And
องปรุง
the paprika is sweet
สูตรของ
smoked
เราสูตรของพ่อ
paprika.
ใหญ่
Sweet smoked paprika is the paprika. That's important because some paprika won't add a very good flavor to barbecue, but sweet smoked paprika is usually really good. So some people don't season this side of the ribs. Side I peeled that membrane off of, but I like seasoning both sides.
ส่วนพ่อใหญ่เราใส่เครื่องปรุงลงไป
Roughly about a tablespoon of seasoning on each side. I'm just going to turn them over, give them a little pat. That rub could be thicker. I'm going to coat the other side a little bit more thickly.
ข้างๆค่ะพี่น้อง
These ribs are trimmed as what they would call, these are kind of like a, I don't know what cut you would call this. They aren't strictly a St. Louis cut. They aren't strictly baby back ribs. They're kind of just pork ribs because they've cut the rib tips off the bottom or the baby backs off the top, but they still left part of the belly on the very bottom, a flap of belly meat on the bottom. And they'll be okay. They'll be tasty, but they're very thin. They're very thin. These ribs are very thin. Not much meat left on the back side. And usually when I do baby back ribs or St. Louis pork ribs, there's a lot more meat. A lot more meat. These are what they call shiners. These have been trimmed by the butcher very flat. The pork belly's all been taken off the ribs. And you can almost, that's bone right there. That's bone. That's why they call them shiners, because it's cut right down to where you can see the bone shining through. the meat, and that's a very thin rib. They won't take as long to cook. They'll still be tasty, but they're not as fatty and they're not as got as much meat as they do when they have more pork belly left on them. So again, these aren't my favorite cut of rib, but they will do.
เราลงไปอีกแล้วเครื่องปรุงกับข่างมาปีนข่างมากับมาโรยอีกคือเก่าค่ะ
Another little coating of olive oil, and now some dry rub on the convex side or the convex side of the ribs. This is where most people would put the heavier seasoning.
สูตรของพ่อใหญ่เองด้วยค่ะนี่แซ่บเป็นแซ่บจะบอกเนี่ยสูตรของเราเครื่องปรุงเรากับจัดของเราเองคุกของเราเองเครื่องปรุงเราปรุงของเราเองใครได้กินแล้วสิติดใจค่ะพ่อแม่พี่น้องค่ะ
Okay, we're all got the seasoning. These are turning a little darker red now, and that's just because of the dry rub. It's got paprika in it, so when it gets a little moist, it starts to turn red. And now I'm going to cook these in a smoker today. So these are hooks because I'm going to hang them in a smoker. So I'm taking these hooks and I'm putting them through the ribs. And I double hook these just because these ribs are a little thin, and when they cook, if the meat gets very soft, the hooks can pull out. So I'm going to double hook them so they hang on these hooks.
คุณยายแล้วก็เสียบเล็กเข้าไปนั่นของเราสูตรพ่อใหญ่ส่วนพ่อใหญ่ไปเปิดร้านอยู่อุบลอยู่ค่ะพี่น้อง กินแล้วติดใจโอ้ยจะบอกว่าวันนี้คำบรรยายอร่อยจ้าสูตรของเชฟเดฟ
Okay, so those are all ready to go on the smoker. We're going to go get the smoker ready, and then we'll put the ribs on. We'll see you in a minute. So we're getting the smoker ready. We're going to be using charcoal.
ทานมาเป็นกระสอบเลย
And this is what's in the bag. Charcoal briquettes. Charcoal briquettes.
ทานพี่น้อง
And I like this brand of charcoal. It works well in this smoker. This is special smoker. It's not a charcoal barbecue. It's a hybrid smoker called a pit barrel cooker. So that charcoal going to sit in the bottom, but it not burn fast. And the food, the pork ribs, will hang right over the top of the coals. But when you put the lid on, the fire and the heat move around, and it cooked very good. So just going to light the charcoal right here. Have a charcoal lighter. There's some newspaper in the bottom and some charcoal in the bin, and just going to light. It's going to smoke a lot, but it light very fast, and don't have to use other chemicals. Just use paper, just some newspaper. So light that in the bottom.
พอไฟแล้วพ่อใหญ่กำลังดังไฟกำลังดังไฟดังไฟแล้วควนแล้ว
And it'll take about 10 minutes to light that charcoal.
กล้าแล้วค่ะพี่น้อง
Okay, the charcoal is now lit and starting to get some red coals in there, so I'm going to take.
โดนมาตามมาค่ะตามพ่อใหญ่
I'm going to pour. Be careful, darling. Okay, so we've got a number of lit coals down now inside there, and it will light the other ones, and they will burn for a long time. That might burn 6 or 7 hours because I'm going to go get the pork.
พ่อใหญ่เราไปเอาหมูสี่โครงหมูมาแล้วจ้ามาแล้วค่ะ
I'm going to take the pork and just hang.
นั่น พ่อใหญ่แล้วก็สอดเล็กเข้าไปน่าเบิ่งพ่อใหญ่แล้ววิธีของเราสูตรของเรานั่นคุณพี่น้อง
Just spread them out so they're somewhat even. And then put the lid on.
คุณยายจะปิดฟ้าแล้วค่ะ
Okay. Ribs have been in the smoker for about 3 hours.
3 ชั่วโมงค่ะ
I checked them about 30 minutes ago. They were almost done. So I put sauce, barbecue sauce on them. Put them back in for about half hour more. Let the sauce set. So they're just about done. We're going to take them out.
พี่น้องมาเบิงว้าว ลูกน่ากินมากคุณยายเราท่าซอสเหรอพี่น้องว้าว oh my god โอ้
Try to take these hooks out.
เบิ้งพี่น้องมาเบิ้งน้ำกันเบิ้งกับสาวอุบลมาเบิ้งโอ้คุณพี่น้องที่ละ3 ชั่วโมงเลยค่ะพี่น้องเนี่ยอยู่ในเตา
One more.
มันหม้อนี่อันสุดท้ายแล้วจ้า
Okay.
โอเค
Some barbecue ribs. We take them inside. Get them ready. We
Wow.
taste them soon.
เย็ดโอเค
Okay. We've got the ribs. They've cooled just for a few minutes, and we're cutting.
นั่นพ่อแม่พี่น้องได้เวลาแล้ว3 ชั่วโมงมันก็สุกแล้วมันก็สิเป็นยังซี่หน้าตาพอกริบ barbecue
It's looking pretty good, pretty juicy. We'll take a bite. Oh, very good.
ว้าวพ่อใหญ่ละเทศแล้ว
You take a bite, darling? You hold camera out and take a bite. Show you taking a bite.
Yeah.
Okay, darling, taking bite. Tastes good? Alright?
อร่อยเดี๋ยว
Pork very soft, tender,
แสบค่ะพี่น้อง
flavor is
ซิม
good.
ชิมแล้ว
Very good. Lima.
ไม่ใช่ว่าอร่อยมาก